discussing the quality objectives of our project. For myself, I have listed plan, manage and control, meet VOC requirements, progressive lessons learned, team culture and collaboration, and methodic reporting. We want to do just one at a time and then I'll go per item. Okay, so planning, managing and controlling. Ensuring effective and efficient quality management throughout the project lifecycle. Organisational structure and culture plays a role in how the quality is perceived amongst team members and also stakeholders. They influence the values, expectations and sets a standard for everyone to adhere to. Adhering to relevant laws, legislation, industry standards, legal regulations, compliance, and this dictates quality requirements and procedures. They also are very reliant upon standardised templates, forms and checklists to ensure that we are all using the same procedures and forms. Looking at historical data and lessons learned, performance measurement tools and quality metrics and monitor quality performance. And looking at voice of the customer, trying to do our best to capture customers' requirements, expectations and feedback is crucial in project quality. Understanding the VOC allows project managers to ensure project deliverables align with the VOC perspective. VOC alignment helps set realistic and relevant quality standards by providing clear insights into what the customer considers high quality and establishes transparency among project team members. Did you want to go next?
I like it.
I've written the project quality objectives: performance, customer satisfaction, continual improvement, effective project delivery, fit for purpose deliverables, material quality, timeline and safety. Customer satisfaction, the project should measure customer need satisfaction. It means a validation of process. And the continual improvement, all quality policy principle should be pursued through the review and audit, the project office and operational process. The fit for purpose deliverables should be efficient and effective to meet the requirements of all project team and the stakeholders members.
Yeah, did you want to touch on two of those items?
The material quality, the material what we deliver should be of the quality that we have agreed with the stakeholders. At the timeline, the team has to meet the timeline. It has to manage the process and the procedures which has been given to the staff members. When the staff members adheres to the timeline, the project will be completed on time. The safety measures, as it has been given in the doc framework, the safety measurement has to be followed.
Nice. Okay. For me, I got pretty basic. It's fit for purpose. Is it what they want? Are we going to deliver what they want? And it's pretty important. Seen a few projects delivered and it's not what they wanted. It wasn't on the brochure. And then I guess for me, it's a bit around maintainability, like sort of having come out of that space, looking at some projects, how do you maintain it? Like it's pretty important. Like it's all great, we're doing a project, spend X money, and then we have, like the council's got to look after it, right? So, or we have to look after it as a council. How hard is it going to be to maintain? You basically want zero maintenance or minimum maintenance. And I guess to do that, conform to requirements like building specifically, concrete, because as we know, concrete's pretty important. As soon as you get concrete cancer, it becomes very expensive to rip up concrete and start again. And then I guess around that leads on to the next one, which is quality process, quality products. AS 1379 specifications and manufacture of concrete, and I'll have to have a look at the building ones specifically around, I guess, the shelters.
Mm-hmm.
Be a big one,
Yeah.
because obviously we got roofs and stuff like that, so that's in time that becomes access to that. You know, it's scissor lifts, it's EWPs, all that sort of stuff to maintain them.
Yeah.
So I think build them to the highest standard we can within the budget, obviously.
There's probably some council legislation and regs sitting around that as well,
Yeah,
not just
yeah.
relative to the materials, but actually to how high it can go,
Yeah,
how wide it
Yeah,
can go.
design, all the design. And
Yeah.
So that's, I didn't get a chance to look at that, but something I'll look into.
Yeah.
And that's it for me around that bit.
Sorry.
Probably over to you.
Yeah, I'll listen to a few. I'll talk only a couple of them. Mainly maintaining the project documents. That's a big one. Project management. A lot of documents do go missing. As people have done management stuff are well aware. More so towards the end of the project, lesson learned documents. No point having doing your lesson learned if you can't want to go back to it and it can't be found.
Yeah.
Happens quite often. They should be stored in the database. I think Rockingham Council will have a database that we could store all our documents in and have access to. They need to be reviewed and revised regularly, as in change management. As you know, all projects, things are going to change, so documents need to be revised, reviewed and changed accordingly at the same time. Another big downfall with documentation is they don't get completed correctly. You get something back that's supposed to be filled in and sometimes we don't have a name, date or nothing on it. That's something that needs to make sure that all documents are completed correctly and fully.
That would come under quality control, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
That documentation.
Yeah. But still, you can have all that quality control in place and there's still people
Aren't doing their job
that
properly.
won't do it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on touching on that as well, in regards to approvals and sign-offs are all completed on all documents before anything starts, anything changes. Make sure all sign-offs are complete. That's basically about it as far as the documents go. Just one other thing I was going to touch on was sampling of our products. We'll need to have our concrete tested each batch as it comes in, as per the standards. Same as our soil, we'll need to have a 2 kilogram bucket of our soil. Topsoil is coming into the plants. We'll have to have that tested as well.
Pesticides as well, I guess, that will pick up.
Yeah, and the other thing you've got to be careful of too is Legionnaire's disease in mulch and soil.
Really?
Yeah, especially in mulch.
And that'll wipe out all the trees that have just been planted.
And the other thing you've got to be careful of too is the mulch is going to be tested as well. And also, like the soil and the mulch, like I said, is weeds,
Okay.
depending on where the soil's come from.
Yeah, of course.
So it needs to be tested for weeds. And plants, there'll have to be a couple of plants, a couple of different variety of plants sent away for testing as well that we're going to use. Same deal, just for disease, pest resistance, and all that. So, yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah. Actually, might make a note of that as well. Are we moving over to the next task now?
Is waste.
So excess.
Well, I think we touched on obviously 1 and 2. I did touch on it briefly. Was quality process, but I guess you covered that time, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
And Deb, you talked about product quality. I think.
identify areas renowned for waste, duplication, or excess.
But yeah, waste. So I resources, over-resourced, but then that came down to better planning.
Mm.
But, and then, well, you just touched on their permits, having that all in place, and I think another one I didn't write down there was safety. One thing that I've always witnessed on projects is people not understanding safety requirements and then getting them to stop the job because of safety requirements.
Or underestimating how important it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously the time frame's blowing out because safety just puts a handbrake on everything.
Yeah.
But again, because it is quite important, well,
Mhm.
getting anyone run over by a machine or
Yeah, of course.
but yeah, permits. So that comes under permits and understanding what permits are required for make sure we're managing safety properly and job analysis and all that stuff.
I think that planning and permits could also come under time, which I've mentioned down there as well.
Yeah.
Permits taking too long, admin tasks taking too long, getting blown out, approvals not getting done.
Approvals can hold up
Efficiently.
things long top. Yeah.
Perhaps maybe the sign-off processes not being too defined and stakeholders taking too long to sign off on that.
Yeah.
Not using time effectively. We've all seen road workers who stand around doing not much at all.
Yeah.
That's like,
And mine workers as well.
on the shovel.
yeah, just turn,
Yeah.
stop, go.
Yeah.
Maybe not adhering to the timeframes and how we need to move through a schedule as quickly but as efficiently as possible. That's obviously where we can be wasting time as well. I've also written down cost and budget, wastage in regards to the over allocation of materials and potentially resources as well. Maybe doubling up in areas. For example, project admin. Do we need one or do we need three? We don't need three. Let's kind of look at where we can reduce those numbers. That being said, we can also be doing that on site with labourers, landscapers, etc. Maybe not putting out estimations as accurately as possible, which might also come down to skills as well. Has that person who's estimating done it before? Do they have experience? So that's where I guess the budget can blow out also.
You could also maybe look at, okay, we call it a labourer, but can they be multi-skilled?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like labourer
You
/ landscaper.
Yeah.
You know, are they
They
multi-trade?
can operate the machines, they can,
Exactly.
Yeah.
even if it costs a little bit more.
Basically all rounder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Costs more initially, but I think it actually works out better in the long run.
Long term, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you've got someone there all the time that
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can have a bloke jump on a machine, do a bit, get out, get on the
Exactly.
shovel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I think a site supervisor could be utilised as well.
Yeah.
Where they're kind of lacking, they should be able to jump in and not
Oh,
just
yeah.
be supervising the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that, yeah, they're not, I don't think they're going to be required to be just walking around supervising the whole time.
You wouldn't think so.
They can be hands on as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's something about people, sort of comes back to, like I said, the wrong selection of people, which is sort of you're basically covered. You know, you don't want to be a carpenter as a labourer.
No.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's choosing the right people and like
Because
you say.
you never get a Sparky to do any labouring.
No, exactly. Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
want to twist the wires together.
Yeah.
They don't want to dig the holes. Or,
Yeah. He'd be the one not carrying his weight. He'd be the lazy one.
You don't even need a Sparky there for half a day for the whole project. If you just have to come and twist these wires together.
Yeah.
I think the right people, if you choose them carefully, they can really make or break a project.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I mentioned about the transportation delay due to weather change. We have to keep an eye on the weather forecasting as well as the market as well. There are two delays. One is due to the weather change, the trucks will not arrive on site on time.
Mm-hmm.
Another changes due to the other delays due to the market price change, and when we keep our eye on both weather forecasting and as well as the market,
Mm-hmm.
we will be able to keep up the time with the transportation, where we can make a better planning in order to get the materials to the site on time.
Like as in locking those prices in at
Yes.
the time of ordering perhaps,
Yes.
so that we don't deal with the CPI
Yes.
increases, yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. Because like Shane said, it's a bad time of year to be starting.
Yeah.
You know, middle of winter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
Well, that's
that's good. It's-
a good segue into lessons learned.
yeah.
Because
True.
I wouldn't do
Starting
it.
at a different time of the year.
I would not do it in July.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
way.
start it, no, not that time of the year.
So we talk about lessons learned from previous projects.
That's
This is
right.
a classic one.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't do it in the middle of summer either. It'd be
No,
March,
yeah, probably,
maybe,
yeah, March.
maybe into Feb.
End of Feb, start of March, yeah.
I think
That'd be the
ending
ideal.
the practical completion towards the end of December, there's most likely going to be delays. So you're probably going to cross over during the Christmas period where we're not going to have as much staff on, which is going to incur even
Yeah.
more delays. So lessons learned there, starting and finishing times.
Yeah, because you want to try and get your earthworks done before it got wet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
right, yeah, otherwise it's just
Yeah.
a swamp.
I mean, some of the other work you could probably do during the wet weather, but your earthworks,
Yeah.
that's, the rain will hold it up.
Especially if you're trying to do concrete pours,
Mm.
compact soil.
Yeah.
Be good towards the end of the project, a bit of rain,
Mm.
read it all up.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to have a chat to Sam, so, so hey mate.
It's not gonna happen.
So we're starting in February. No.
And what else did you have there? What did you have there, Shannon, for lessons learned?
So implementing effective communication strategies. So we all know that communication is at the core of every successful project, and implementing them at the start. Making sure those plans and procedures are in place as well, and just highlighting to the team that it is critical to make sure that we are all talking and keeping everyone update and communicating as a priority. And then I also have ensuring that our project goals align with our stakeholder requirements. I think there can be a little bit of ambiguity between team members, stakeholders, and also project management. So having those continual meetings and those conversations, documenting the requirements, it's paramount to make sure that we're all aligning our goals together.
Yeah.
Building effective relationships as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 trust and collaboration, all of those things, it's funny because everything kind of intertwines with one another. They all have like a real flow-on effect. Like if you're not capturing one area, then you're going to affect another area. So
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like same deal with like you're saying about the communication. The other thing to be wary of too is how we communicate. How, when.
Yeah.
the approach.
You might have one person that uses Teams all the time to contact everybody, and then you've got one of your stakeholders doesn't use Teams at all.
Yeah.
So he's not getting any of the information.
Yeah.
So that's something at the startup communication issues need to be addressed and guidelines set of how email, phone calls, or whether we are using Teams. We're going to have a chat in Teams. So any chat is done through the Teams. Any major stuff is done through emails.
Yeah.
So everyone's on the same board and,
Reporting,
and no one misses out
Yeah, I agree.
on any information.
And not having too many platforms.
Yeah, you don't want too many.
You
of
can't
it,
get
no.
across it when you've got,
No.
you've got 4 different avenues,
Mm.
checking in 4 different places. It gets a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, chats, like Microsoft Teams is good for like chat and
Yeah.
passing information on.
Yeah,
Like,
that's-
serious stuff, it's
Yeah, we only use just basically for chat and for Teams meetings. That's all we use it for. So,
Yep.
Yeah, but all major stuff is all documented in emails.
I think that's the only way you can do it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing you've got to be very wary of, I'm not so bad in this case, but is contractor selection. There's a lot of contractors out there that come across as if we are the best. But get them on site, and no, they're not the best.
yeah, they just cut.
Yeah.
They'll just
You've got to do a lot of research
Reference checks.
and reference checks on your contractors.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely.
And then looking into the kind of people that they hire, are there, does it align with our work ethics and how
values.
and
That's
our
right.
end goals and how we want to like portray ourselves to our customers and to the community? Not to be seen having people standing around on site not really doing very much, because it kind of creates a bad reputation.
Yeah, we've had a job project where they had a crew from Bunbury go to the Pilbara, and we were hitting 40 plus days up there. There was for the rail dumper. The had the like a little open pit, mini pit where they built the rail dumper down in the ground,
Right.
and it was getting up to 57, 58 degrees down there, and these blokes just come straight up from Bunbury and knocked them for
Caught
six.
it, yeah.
Knocked them for six.
Right.
They went nearly 2 weeks before they could actually get right into it until they adjusted to the heat. Yeah.
Climatizing everything. Right.
Yeah, and so that was a big time waster because
Okay.
they were due to start. They got there to start, all the gear was there,
Uh-huh.
and then the blokes just they couldn't do it.
So it blew out budget,
Mm.
schedule.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty important. Like, as long as like a due diligence on costing as well is done, like being like make sure the pricing's right because a lot of them will come in at X price and then next minute it's variation.
Yeah.
So
Variation,
they'll throw the
variation,
variations out to
variation.
I've got a variation on this.
Yeah.
I've got a variation on that. Yeah,
Just to win the work and then they just
Yeah.
drop it.
Sometimes the face of the company doesn't actually conform with the people that are actually on the job.
No, exactly. No,
Yeah.
don't do that. And same like I said, so the same price, they might be the cheapest, but then they'll once they got that signed contract,
Uh-huh.
and they start, there's variation.
Exactly.
And that's how they get up and they end up costing more than someone who's more reputable. You know.
100 mil slab, they pour a 50 and go, oh well,
Mm.
that was only 50, so that was 100.
Yeah.
Mentioned the adhering to the timeline. Wendy says, sent out a email asking for some confirmation among the team. It just getting passed on to one person to another person. Like the plant yard would say this has to be answered by the site, and the site would say this is not from our end. Check with other team. So the email will be to and fro, just rounding up like a chain.
Mm-hmm.
Like people like
Stick
close
it
to 1
round-
month and 2
round
months,
and round and
visiting on
round.
the same
Yeah.
email without finding
Yeah.
any solution on it. Like even the small thing will make a greater impact on the timeline.
So like
So-
accountability.
Yeah,
Mm.
it is good to inform to the team this is the procedure. Like you can sit on the email, which you get for the confirmation for 24 to 24 hours time, or we can give them 2 to 3 days. You have to get a response back to the email, or you have to get back to the person who is asking for some confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
This next one is the communication process. Some of the communication is not necessary to be going to the entire team, but it has to be gone only for the prescribed team.
Mm.
Only that person needs the communication instead of sending it to the whole team, making it as a
Right.
chaos.
Yeah.
Because each one will raise up a question where we no need to answer the other person. This will end up time consumption where we are going and answering to all the other person, where the person who's not at all involved in that process would come up with a big question and asking them why this has to be like that, why this cannot be like that, then we are wasting of time there. So it's better to manage the communication process
Mm-hmm.
when certain communication has to go only to that particular team.
Yeah.
When this kind of a communication go for the overall team, when we set up a plan of the procedure to the team, then we can manage this communication process.
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah,
point.
definitely. Yeah, because nothing worse than just getting
Handballing.
Yes.
handballed,
Constant.
or you get hammered with emails
Yeah.
that aren't relevant.
And it
Oh,
takes
yeah,
time to
that's-
read them to go, oh, okay, I've
Yeah.
read all of that now. I
Yeah.
don't have to do anything, but thanks for wasting my time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
I hate it.
yeah.
Are we happy with that, guys? Is there anything else that we need to look at?
Covered.
I'm pretty happy with you.
Just got to make sure we understand the process,
Process.
quality process, and
Yeah.
quality products, and the difference
Uh-huh.
between them.
Mm.
But we've got a big list there.
Yeah.
It's how you define those. I don't split them because some are product and process, some are product,
Yeah.
some are just process.
Mm. Yeah.
Are we ready to stop or do we, yeah?
I think we've done, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, great meeting.
Yeah, that'd be amazing, thank you. I actually don't even know what the time is.
4:45. You're well late.
I looked at that already and I'm like, that is not correct.
It's too good, you know.